As events on the 2013 ASP World Tour unfold, much is at stake. Heats that are shaping the outcome of the World Championship title race. Heats that will chart the upward rise, the occasional dip, or the downward spiral of a surfer's career. The line separating triumph from despair is fine. The balance between winning and losing, delicate. Heat Redux will analyze these heats and break down those moments where everything is on the line.
And I heard the crowd blow up, and Miguel was like pale white, just like...
You can watch that air 100 times and it still doesn't look real.
Where in the end, what matters most after the scores have dropped and the cheers have died away is which surfer gets to pull in a jersey for the next heat. Which surfer ultimately gets the chance at taking the biggest prize.
That's probably one of the best waves that the tour has ever seen surfed.
With every generation of surfers, there are those that define what progression in the sport means. In the past 5 years, a new crop of young surfers have redefined the look of modern competitive surfing. This level of progression was taken up another step at the 2013 Oakley Pro Bali, when one 20-year-old Hawaiian sent shockwaves throughout the surfing world. Coming into the last heat of the first day of competition held at the high-performance wave of Karamas, the crowd waited with anticipation as John Florence took on fellow Hawaiian rookie Sebastian Zietz and Brazilian Miguel Pupo. As the heat got underway, Karamas began to deliver a canvas for some of the World Tour's most exciting surfers to display their talent.
John Florence just in a nice tube there, and there it is, he's painting it, drops the hands back and really lays into that turn. Injury affecting him? Still no.
Taking off behind him now, Sebastian Zietz deep in the barrel, and he will punch his way through that curtain, and he is going to lay down a couple of big tracks of his own, so a good exchange between these two guys.
This emphatic opening exchange would give Florence a 9.87 and Zietz a 9.57. With the Brazilian Pupo scoring a 7, the heat was anyone's game. Zietz would try and up the ante on his next wave.
This is a good-looking wave for Sebastian Zietz. Out of the tube, looking to finish off with some big turns on the inside, winds out that big carve.
Zietz' 8.93 ride would put the pressure on his fellow competitors, with Florence only able to answer back with a high 7. As the heat entered its closing stages, Zietz would look to put the nail in the coffin and continue his recent run of form.
That's Seabass getting another great tube ride and nailing a beautiful re-entry, getting fins free.
With Zietz earning a near-perfect 9.80 for his barrel turn combo, it would leave Florence needing a near-perfect score to win the heat.
We're just on 5 minutes, 20 seconds to go, and it sets up an exciting final stage to this clash as we see John Florence land one of the biggest aerials ever seen in World Tour competition.
John Florence's huge full rotation alley-oop would be the largest aerial maneuver executed in competitive surfing history. This 10-point ride earned him a near-perfect heat total of 19.87 and would unbelievably combo Zietz, who himself had scored an almost faultless 19.37. With the crowd left speechless by what they had just witnessed, Florence arrived on the beach, seemingly lost for words himself.
John, mate, you've done some airs in your time, but I mean, even you look pretty stoked with that one.
Yeah, I don't know, I was like in the air and then I saw the bottom and everything just happened so fast and I just like landed perfect, and I think I claimed it super hard, but I mean, I was super stoked.
I think it was more of a mental thing. He free surfs like that, and he's always trying that in his free surf, so when he gets in a heat and he needs to do it, he just goes for it, and I think he just has no nerves.
This tight exchange between Florence and Zietz was the latest chapter in a developing rivalry between the young Hawaiians.
I was excited about this heat because Seabass and John have a little bit of a friendly rivalry.
As the heat got underway, the Hawaiians went blow for blow on a classic high-performance Karamas set.
You know, I'm a rookie on tour, so I don't take priority, even though I got seniority on John. Yeah, just let him take the first wave, and it looked like more of a double-up, kind of a drainer.
These are the waves that we had been talking about seeing at some point during the day, and John starts off with that big barrel, and Seabass comes out and just starts doing big sweep hacks. And you're like, oh, this is going to be a zesty one.
Yeah, for me, I remember going, oh, good start for both guys. They're going to be definitely in the 9s, you know?
We were just trading off, you know, having fun. I was having chats to him out in the water, like, oh, what'd you do on that one? He was like, oh, I got barreled, did a pretty good carve. And I was like, oh, I got barreled, did a roundhouse. And he's like, oh, I saw you come out. I didn't know how long the barrel was, and I was like, oh, it was a good one. Just kind of messing with, you know, just good camaraderie. You know, he's a super cool kid, and yeah, I'm a big fan.
I felt bad for Miguel Pupo because he kind of became a spectator. He even said later to somebody, he's like, I was just amping, like watching. Like, it was hard for me to get in the zone. Like, history will have to remember that he was in that heat because it was a sideshow for him.
My first wave was like, I was just trying like to go as hard as I could, you know, to get a big scar like them. I didn't choose the right board for it, so it was probably I was hitting late.
Well, I feel bad for Pupo. He just got on the wrong side of a heat draw for this one.
Zeet's next wave put him out in front with an 8.93. However, with Florence lurking ominously in the lineup, Zeetz knew he'd have to go one better if he was going to take the win.
John had that one big score, and I had a pretty good backup. Yeah, and then a wave came in, and I had priority. I was paddling for it, and John I think he kind of sold me on it because he looked at it, but obviously it wasn't a sell job because it ended up being 9.8. When I took off, I actually was like, frick, because I'd seen that it was kind of stretching off and it had a big foam ball on it. But I was like, whatever, just try to make it, just pump, and got really tight and ended up driving through the foam ball, and then, yeah, just slammed it.
And this was a really deep barrel. I mean, he's really deep in there. He had to navigate a couple chandeliers, and this is where he comes out and he just releases the fins, and that was the nail in the coffin right there.
That wave, for me, all the points were right there in the front end of that barrel. Was amazing. Yeah, he backdoored that thing like he was at backdoor.
With time ticking down and needing a near-perfect 9.50, Florence would have to pull off something special in order to take the heat from Zeetz.
This is John's 10.0 that will change surfing history for a long time. I like the landing the best. Like, he covered, 10 feet of ground, and he got 6 feet in the air. With his skate background, he knows how to land in transition. He knows how to look at where he's going, and he put it right in the sweet spot. It's really hard to do in surfing.
You look like Shaun White in a half pipe. It was the same sort of drifting, controlled, casual flair in the air that I don't think a lot of people are used to seeing in surfing.
I was looking at Miguel Pupo, and I heard the crowd blow up, and Miguel was like pale white, just like in disbelief.
I just saw John went like so high, and then Seabass was just belling at me, and he looked at it, what happened? I was like, dude, that's a 10.
I asked him like 50 times what John did, and he couldn't like give me an answer. It's like, it was huge. I was like, no, but what did he do? He was 10 feet in the air. I was like, no, but what kind of air did he do? And he's like, oh, he did the alley-oop. It was a huge one. I was just like, oh, okay.
You can watch that air 100 times, and it still doesn't look real. And I love that at the end, even he was forced to give an uncharacteristic John super claim.
The perfect 10 allowed Florence to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. But the significance of landing a maneuver this big in a competitive environment would have implications for the entire sport of surfing.
It was the greatest move in the history of competitive surfing. Like, if that's the level of where things are at, imagine what it's going to be like in a few more years.
What John did definitely changed aerial surfing in a World Tour event, for sure.
It recalibrates, what you have to do to win now in a heat at any sort of wave that offers true high-performance sections.
The first day I was like, we're going to see the best turn of the year at this event at Karamas, and I didn't think it was going to happen last heat, first day, and John just is one of the best aerials I think I've ever witnessed live. The effect that's having on the other surfers is huge.
John's big alley-oop is definitely going to have a positive influence. Everyone's going to want to be pushing themselves and trying bigger airs. I was just lost for words. It was just like, whoa, did that really just happen?
John always did like crazy things. I like to watch him surfing. That's how we push each other.
After that heat with John and Seabass, Kelly paddled straight out. He's a 41-year-old kid. And what did he do for his entire session? Practiced alley-oops. 11-time world champion. Straight out and goes, oh, I got to go do some work.
I wouldn't say what John did was anything new. It was just bigger than you've seen, you know. But to go, 6 feet out and fully rotate it and land it back in the, the right part of the wave with just plenty of speed is, that's a thing of beauty.